Hey guys, welcome back to the Sound 228. It's your girl Lisa. And for the March issue of the Sound 228 magazine, I've got an artist that has been climbing up the charts this past couple years. She signed to Fixed Records. Please welcome to the studio, Izzy Rain.
Hi guys. Thanks for
Hi.
having me.
It's so nice to see you. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. For people who don't know you, and I mean, honestly, we don't know, we just met, so I'd like to get acquainted. Can we just start out with what's been going on in your life? We've got a lot of singles that you released in the past year. In 2023, you were signed to Fixed Records. How did this whole project begin for you?
Oof. So I have actually been doing music for quite some time. Like, I don't know, at least in this like the metal scene area since I was about 16 or 15 years old. But this specific project, it was, a result of being in band after band after band and being like, you know what, I'm gonna be my band. So I am very hard headed and didn't want to stop doing music altogether. And I found it a lot easier to work with myself and just a producer and writer. So I went from previous projects that I had, which were really heavy in the metalcore stuff, but I really wanted to do something that incorporated more of the styles of music that I actually just listen to in general and not just what I think people want to hear from me, if that makes sense. So
Sure.
yeah, coming from all that, I guess here we are.
Yeah, I was reading in your bio that you actually had your first show when you were 15 years old.
Yeah, that it's been quite some time, over half my life ago. But
I've got to
yeah,
know though, like what were you performing?
oh man, so that the first show I played was a backyard show actually, standard high school stuff, but it was in a incredibly standard high school band called No Parking on Tuesdays.
It's a
And
it's a perfect name.
yeah, long story. But yeah, honestly, still one of my favorite shows I've ever played, just because it was so much fun. It was like a big, like bash essentially. But I don't know. I remember seeing. I say this almost all the time when people ask, but the Enter Shikari music video, "Sorry You're Not a Winner," was like it like clicked with me, and I was like, I want to do that. And then I formed this band with some random people I met in high school, and I was like, let's do that. And then we played shows, a lot of them, constantly. So it was like our 3 day a week type thing at the same venue.
Oh my gosh. That's really cool though, especially at a young age. That must have been hard for you to try to balance school and life and just being so young all at the same time by playing shows. How did you manage that?
Oh man, honestly, it was so much fun. I loved every second of it. It wasn't there was like besides like I said the inner workings of band drama, it was just fantastic all the time. Like you're in high school and most people will say like they didn't like high school or it was rough for a lot of people. I never had that experience. I've been the weird kid for a while, so I just kind of walked in there being the weird kid and everyone was like, "Yeah, there's that strange person who's friends with everyone." So for me it was like we were like the only band in the school too, so they were like, let's put you in the yearbook. So I just like had a blast with it. It was so much fun.
That is so cool. So has music been a long time, like a lifetime love of yours, or was it inspired by something else?
Music in general, yeah, basically since I could process music. But that all stems, from, way back when just singing like little songs on this like tape deck karaoke machine in my house or like school concerts or whatever and trying to write songs on like the back of envelopes and and it wasn't this genre of music by any means because I grew up listening to like techno and R&B and basically in that like that more of that genre and I wanted to pursue that a lot, but my dad is like a metal drummer and so this has always been instilled into my household and my mom, same deal, it's the music she listens to. So like any other kid I tried to be different than my parents and I succeeded pretty well until I hit about 15 years old and then I like Panic at the Disco came out and Enter Shikari was a thing and like I don't know, I just literally just flipped and I'm like, okay, let's go, let's do this, I like this. So I decided to cave in.
Oh, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we always, I think sometimes we gravitate towards things that we're familiar with,
Hmm.
right? And so if music is in your DNA and the music industry is in your DNA, then, you know,
Yeah.
it's also a lot easier for you to get support. Have your parents played a huge role in terms of supporting you with this project?
Um, it's a little iffy. I would say that they are stoked about the fact that I'm doing what I'm doing. And over the past couple of years, my mom's like weird to like keep track of the view counts or something, but and it wasn't like very prominent all the way growing up or anything like that. It's kind of just like they're more interested in it now than they were before. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was just surrounded by it pretty much all the time, and also being surrounded with friends who were also interested in it growing up, it kind of helped sway that. But yeah,
Do they give you bad advice?
um, I would say that there are some words exchanged that I will never listen to, but but you can have your opinion and it's okay, and that's fine. I can say that I don't think my parents like my music very much.
What?
But they like the parts that don't sound very mean. If that is standard, it's okay. Which is kind of ironic, but it's fine.
I think so too. I think when my parents sometimes when they watch me, like, on our podcast, my dad will, like, message me and be like, "Why was that person screaming?"
Yeah. They're like,
It's
but you just
okay.
have such a beautiful voice. I'm like, yeah, that's okay.
Well, I saw that you had released some singles, before getting signed to Fix, but in
Mhm.
2023, you released Broken by Design, which is how you landed on my radar as well. I saw that come into my release radar, and I was like, "Who is this? What is this? And who is Izzy Rain?" So can
Mm.
you tell us how you came up with that name and what it stands for you?
Izzy Rain, yeah. So okay. I had originally gone by my actual legal last name, but it was weirdly taken. So I was like, okay, let's change it. I'm gonna make it a new thing. And I had it originally as just the letter I. It's actually based off a poem that's like a lowercase letter I with a thumbprint as like the dot on the I, and it's supposed to just represent like you as an individual and you being uniquely you. However, that didn't work out because it was impossible to find on any form of social media and um like Spotify and stuff. To search was impossible. So I was like, all right, I want to stick with what I have, but I want to change it to where it's more accessible. And the name Izzy actually stems from my great aunt who rest her soul passed not it wasn't that long ago, but it wasn't, yeah, I don't know, in the time frame of still meaning something, but it still does obviously. But she was the last full-blooded Armenian in my family. So and her being such like a gentle soul to like everybody, she's obviously been a very big inspiration just as a person. And then Rain is just rule, the queen of it. Wanted to make sure that that kind of stands, and for me, it is very much so an Armenian thing. But yeah, I guess that's kind of where the name itself stems from.
Why is it an Ar can you educate me on why it's, you're saying an Armenian thing?
Well, I am Armenian, and it's like not a super talked about thing. I feel like in my family in general, um, and I wanted to kind of just hold the importance or like understanding of like and it's kind of crazy because I don't know like a whole bunch more. I should know a lot more about Armenian culture, but I just wanted to make sure that that bloodline still kept its stance in my life at least, to carry it on in any way that I could. Personally, I don't plan on having kids, so the bloodline probably ends here. So if I can leave a legacy, I will, just not that way.
That's okay. I mean, our heritage is important. Our cultures are important, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure with your great aunt, coming over from Armenia, there's a lot of things that are to be like a lot of history to be told and things to remember and traditions,
Yeah.
right? Do you have some special ones that maybe you guys still celebrate or gravitate towards during the year?
Yeah, unfortunately, not really. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting the Armenian people in my family. My grandpa had
Oh.
passed before I was even born. So any of the stuff that would have been carried from him is all up to my mom, which didn't really get carried too far on. All I got was just a gentle soul and some education on their history, and they kind of left it there.
Well, that's okay. I mean, at least you're trying,
Yeah.
right? At least with your name. And let me tell you, you are wearing your crown very well. You have had an app, you've been crushing it.
Well, thank you.
All last year, you released, by my count, 7 singles. Your latest is Your Entertainer. I am absolutely in love with it. Can you tell us about what your strategy was in terms of releasing those 7 singles and what you're looking for, I guess, this year? Because you've got an album coming.
I do. So for me, the way we released it, if that's what you're referring to, I actually, so a lot of these songs, or all of the songs, have to do with my mental state or mental health. Each one portrays, it's like something different, battles that I've had to deal with. And for me, and probably so many others, certain times of years kind of like triggered those mental states more than others. So the way that I wanted to release the songs that I was releasing, uh, not to like backpedal on anything, but like the way we wrote the instrumentals feel a certain way for certain times of the year. And I put lyrics to the ways that the songs sound and wanted to make each emotion basically fit what I feel usually going throughout the years. And that's how I released it. Well, wanted to release it and still are. So yeah, that's definitely where the release stuff came in and why I've gone about it that way.
I find that very interesting. There's a lot of people who struggle with their mental health, certainly different times of the years. Holidays hit and
Yeah.
people feel really lonely and sad. What are some of the, aside of music, are there any other strategies maybe that you might use to try to get you through those hard times, or is music your main outlet?
Whew. Music is rough. I'm not even gonna lie. Writing all of that was incredibly difficult, and not in a way that it's like, oh, it's just a hard thing to do. It's actually a lot to do with the song "Your Entertainer." It is you're quite literally exposing yourself to a bunch of people. So doing that and actually saying and feeling the things that you've probably suppressed or didn't want to deal with through music, it is very draining and it is very difficult, but it's absolutely necessary. As far as things that I do in general, like I will tell people 1,000 times over, go to therapy. Even if you don't think you need it, go to therapy. And anybody that squashes the idea or makes you feel like you have to be crazy, you don't have to be crazy. Therapy is good. Um, just do what you got to do to help yourself. Music is great. I don't think music is personally the same as going to therapy. I think that it is a good outlet. Same thing with going outside or keeping in contact with good people or surrounding yourselves with good people, but also just making sure that you're keeping yourself like accountable for things that you might be not working on yourself that you should be. Because you can play the woe is me card all you want, and nothing will ever change. And it's not ever easy trying to get through it, but you have to do it. You don't get to choose, and if you do, you're going to sit there forever. And I personally don't want to do that. So I guess that's pretty much my only advice.
Yeah, ever evolving and ever changing. I mean, I suppose that's really the story of life. And it's
Yeah.
also the story of music,
Yeah.
right? I mean, sounds evolve and change. Your upcoming album, what is it titled?
It is just Izzy Rain. It's self-titled.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
coming out later this month. Is there a concept behind it? What can you tell us about it?
Um, yeah, I definitely concept kind of what I mentioned is it is all about like, okay, it sounds kind of corny, but it is like a way that everybody could relate. It's your inner demons. So whatever specific things that you're dealing with, I wanted to be able to not only take the lyrics and get a certain message across that people can relate to, and especially things that I obviously deal with, but the sounds itself to make sure that that person can feel like fully immersed in the emotion that's trying to be portrayed. So definitely concept is the inner workings of my brain.
How many songs are you releasing?
uh okay, so there's single releases and then there's 2 unreleased on the album. So I think it's a total of, is it 11 or 12?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great for a debut album. Now, will it have all new music or will it have some of the tracks that you released previously last year?
Um The only song from 2023, I think, or was it? It was is Broken by Design. That one is on the album, but everything
Okay.
I have been releasing from that point on is on the album. Just there's like a few songs that were before Broken. There's none of that's on the album.
Okay. All right. That's really cool though. I think the best way, I mean, have you found, at least for you, that doing the waterfall releases has been a better way to grow?
I think it's definitely helped. One of the biggest issues that I've had over the years is consistency. Like I'll be able to, put money down and throw out like make a cool song, and then it's like 2 years later I have another one to put out, and my numbers stay right where they're at. My reach, my growth, nothing. I have nothing, and then so now being able to, which we recorded the whole album very fast, and but having that whole catalog ready to go and releasing it the way that we have consistently has helped like tremendously keep momentum going. And it's crazy because it's actually been like from November until the next single comes out. Um, it'll be like a 2 month span, which is the longest amount of time I went without releasing like a new original song.
You know what? That's okay though. I mean, every like 6 to 8 weeks, I think more artists tend to go with the 8 weeks because 6 weeks maybe feels a little bit too short. But
Yeah.
you've also been releasing videos as well, and you've
Mhm.
been putting up content on your socials with one take vocals. Are you having fun with that?
Yeah, it's fun. I the one take vocal things do crack me up because it is such a tasking thing sometimes to make sure that I'm video, it's like on video and the recording, and I got to make sure that I look good doing it and I sound good doing it. So I'm like trying to nail it. But it is fun. I enjoy it. Obviously I wrote the lyrics and the melodies, as some of them a lot more difficult than others to do, but that's okay. I did it and I'm gonna have to do it live anyway. So but yeah, it is fun, and I think just placing little videos like that help people go, oh, that's cool, and I didn't realize that was like a thing, because people love visual everything. It's like a big way for people to actually pay attention to you. You put a YouTube link out, it's less likely, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, the music videos also so much fun. I worked with the same guy, same people for, I will have, when the album comes out, a total of 3 music videos. So I have 2 out right now, which is Broken by Design and Sandman. And
Mhm.
those were shot with, his name is Black Wolf Imaging. It's
Sure.
Alex.
Of
He's
course,
a
I know who that is.
Yeah, he's a 12 out of 10 everything. Great dude, great to work with, super incredible at what he does, and his turnaround time is not even real. I don't even understand. He sends me the video before I even landed on the plane back home. So
I love that kind of commitment and that sense of urgency because there's so many people in this. I just find maybe business wise in general who don't have that sense of urgency. And it sounds like, when you give someone that time and attention, you really feel that they have your best interests at heart.
I know. It's nice to feel like somebody is excited about it. They're not just getting a paycheck. And he, like, I don't know. I love the dude. He's great. Like I said, he's a beyond a pleasure to work with too. So I recommend him to anyone.
In watching your videos, you've got two women, other women in those videos. Is there something we should know?
So those are a big fat representation of the inner demons. They stay with me for everything. So every video that I have, especially this album specifically, they will be there. They are big parts. They're on my merch. They're on, like, they are something that I share in common with everyone else. And it's just wanted to give a visual representation of that daunting other entity that is just another part of you, because you have usually multiple things that you're dealing with that you gotta like you gotta deal with. So I wanted to make sure people got also a visual representation of something that they could relate to.
What's your favorite song off the album?
That's out. I would
It
say
doesn't have to be. It could be,
uh
I mean, well, I'm not okay.
yeah.
Yes. Because
um
I'm thinking, I'm like, well, wait a minute, we probably shouldn't. Okay, so yes, of the songs that are out now.
um Well, that's really tough. I would say currently I still Broken by Design is my little heart and soul. That was like the first thing that came out, but I love Sandman because of how weird it is. And I was so stoked when we wrote that song. Like I was like giddy about it. That one I think is that one would be my favorite one, I think, as a whole, just because it's like such an odd variety of music when you listen to it. And I feel like we made such different genres blend so well. And then through some of the most random parts in there that and the way we wrote it too, like some of the like weird instruments that we threw in there. It was just a blast to make. And also I think it's like just in general a cool song.
I think your music, I mean, at least for me, the singles that you've released, not they don't all sound the same. They all
Yeah.
sound very uniquely different. Can you tell us about your writing process and also how do you categorize your music?
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Yeah.
We have this conversation quite a bit about like what genre of music it falls under and where what playlists to try to aim for and all that. And I'm like, oh. So we have to I fill out these forms and I will try to listen to artists that might fall under more of like the broader sound of the song, not necessarily like, cause you can't really pick one genre of the song. That's the part that I did, and it's kind of confusing, but I like it. So we we fell with what I like to describe it as is like, I don't know, like cyber pop music. You know, it's like an industrial type vibe, but it's still very pop based and like I don't know. I don't know. That's it's kind of hard to describe, but the writing process is always different. But the majority of it I work with, like I said, it's me, Nick Matskos, and John Eberhard. Both of them are incredible at what they do. I again recommend 1,000 times over. But usually how the song starts, I come downstairs in my little studio that I have here, and I write a skeleton of a song, and I do Simlish. So I like will sing melodies and not real words. And then I usually take that and I send it upstairs because I will live with them to keep that in mind. And then they
That's convenient.
yeah. We live in a big music household, so it's like bands coming in and out all the time recording. And um John, well, they both tour quite a bit now. John's doing the I Prevail stuff and Nick's doing live sound for a lot of bands, and Windwalkers is the main one. Highly recommend checking them out too. But
I've seen them a couple times this past year, like last year.
mhm,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Anyway.
yes. But yeah, so I take the song, usually send it up to John. John writes it, makes it actually sound like a song. And then then we take that, send it to Nick. Nick tracks and edits the vocals, adds extra production, mixes and masters it, and then we got a song. That's not every song, but it's usually how the majority of it goes.
Wow. Okay. That's really cool though that you actually live with the people who are doing the songwriting
Yeah.
and production with you. Is
Yeah.
that a quicker turnaround?
No. To be honest, it's and the thing is like I will never. I'm very much so a person who believes, and this is to each his own, but especially if you're my friend, I'm paying you full price with the exact same expectations that a random person that is working with you would do because I
Preach.
respect your business. You know what I mean? Like I want you to thrive as much as I'm going to thrive. I'm not trying to get any freebies out of this. So yeah, I do put myself in debt for it. Okay. But, but yeah, they're whatever time frame that they have or like to be able to get the turnaround or to record it or anything of the sort. We all kind of have the discussion beforehand and get it done. It's a crazy business, but you gotta make sure you're on the same track. Let's put it that way.
Your label fixed. How did things change for you when you got signed? Were you hesitant to sign? Because I know a lot of independent artists are sort of pretty gung ho on staying independent, right? But then we also have these, smaller labels that are coming out and really building a great artist roster. And Fix especially has, to me at least from my perspective, been very deliberate with the artists that they're choosing to add to the roster. Um, what made you decide to go with them and how have things changed for you?
So, you are right. It is usually in the direction of being like, no, thank you. But I have worked with bands that, you know, sign different deals, and I'm looking through contracts and, you know, rereading all this stuff. So I know what looks good and what looks bad. So one of the biggest things was the actual deal that they were offering, which was a very good one for me. Very artist friendly label. The biggest points for me on that were not just the deal. The funding helped, like I said, being able to get songs out made consistently. What I knew was something that I was heavily missing. So them being able to provide the funding to do that was very dire. And since it was a good deal to take on percentages and stuff, I was like, yeah, that's cool. The other thing that I absolutely love and is so strange for a label to do is they have a Discord for all of the artists that are on there, so they can all talk to each other and they all have constant communication, and they're constantly like uploading like new social media things and information and like updates, and it's just like this whole thing where there's a bunch of information and a bunch of communication and like a 12 out of 10 community of people to help you do everything that you're doing. And I've never seen anything like that with any other label, which is so crazy and I'm insanely grateful for. So right out the gate, that was like a really big reason to say, yeah, let's do it. As far as the things that have come along the ways, obviously, besides, you know, consistency with releasing, it's really nice, and it has been nice for growth to have a little bit more of an understanding of how certain things work, because although I was already pretty educated previously in a lot of stuff, there were some things that I was like, I'm not quite sure how this works, or the best way to go about it. And these people are easily some of the best people I've ever come across. Like I'm excited that they're excited about me being excited. You know what I mean? Like they're stoked about the stuff that I'm doing, and it like fuels me. Not saying that you should depend on what other people think of you, but when someone else is excited for you, you're like, yay. So it like, I don't know, it's a good feeling to have like a really solid community of people and a really good team of people constantly communicating with each other. It is in itself that has helped, it probably, more in a way than most people would lean towards a label. It has helped me mentally more than anything, which is crazy, just because I am the most self-doubt filled human being you'll ever meet when it comes to anything, which is probably not what anyone expects, but I constantly dealt with that, and having a group of people be like, hell yeah, like you're doing this and I'm so stoked for this and blah blah blah, and I don't know, like I said, getting excited is a huge deal. So I definitely say, for me personally, that's probably the biggest impact it's had.
I'm so glad to hear a positive response, because a lot of people do sign to these smaller indie labels, right? These boutique labels, and there's no funding. They don't get funding for anything. They don't get funding for any of the recording process. They don't get funding for music video creation. They don't get the kind of just community support.
Yeah.
And speaking of, you were talking about the Discord community. You, I know, also go live on your Discord. You are a gamer.
Yes.
Tell me, I am not. So tell me about you. I've seen you say, I'm going to go live on my Discord. I'm playing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What is that community building for you?
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. So I had wanted to start streaming for a long time, and I lived we moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was so stoked because I've been trying to move out here for so long, and we moved to a house without realizing that the middle of nowhere house that we chose has no internet connection. So we had to we had to get like the little T-Mobile hotspots, and it was
I have
nowhere.
the same one. I
Yeah,
live in the middle of nowhere too. Yeah.
it was rough. So to be able to do live streams without it looking like a robot, it was impossible. So I didn't end up pursuing it. I tried, it just didn't work. But yeah, I was growing up like playing different video games, and I did take a break for a while, but it was a huge part of like my preteen and childhood stuff. And then even though I'm like also a massive outdoors campy person, but yeah, I love them. I'm definitely really big on that. The Twitch streaming people, I have a Discord, and when people jump on Twitch, I always offer, if they want to join the Discord, you're more than welcome. the people in this Discord are like some of the coolest people. I hope I meet them. I don't know them personally, but they're amazing. And I stream 3 times a week, and they're always hanging out and having fun. And I usually play games that they also can play. So, like Fortnite's a big one for Friday. And then on Sunday, we do like game roulette. So I'll let like the group usually pick which game we're doing. We've done like Jackbox and Dead by Daylight and like Fall Guys, just something that's like you can play with other people. And then Wednesday, I let them pick one game that we're gonna go all the way through with. And right now we're playing this horror game called Visage, which is terrifying. Um, but it's the only game that's not a game you can play with other people. So they just hang out and help me figure it out because it's so hard.
That's so cool though that you're creating a community filled with fans and you're getting to know these people. So when will these people be able to meet you and see you on the road? Are there any plans for live music? Because I tell you what, in my mind, I am seeing, like, I am manifesting this hard. Like, I want to see Fixed Fest, no doubt, no joke. I want to see you, Enemy, Daedric, and This Is High Society out on the road.
Yeah.
Doing something totally crazy.
Absolutely would love that. That'd be so much fun. I actually just came back from a High Society show.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was I feel like I don't remember the other artist names, but it was High Society and Steve Aoki, and it was awesome. We drove out of state for it, but it was so much fun. And not to give too much information away about my personal life, but I did lose my wallet, but I just got a phone call today that they found it. So
oh, thank God. Thank God. That's a lot. That's like 30 phone calls you didn't want to make.
Oh man, you know. But yeah, so that's cool. However, he's great. 12 out of 10, dude. Like, just in general, as a human, love him. But the music is incredible too. I've known Enemy for well before the Fix stuff. Actually, we've worked with them for years. So, and then Daedric's like the only new one that I didn't. Actually, I came across her right before Fixed reached out, so I like seen her on TikTok, I think. Someone tagged me in something she did, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is sick." But yeah, I as far as tour goes, there is absolutely nothing set in stone. So I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I have a goal, and I'm aiming to hopefully know more information before May because I want to have stuff set out well beforehand. But I'm aiming for a fall tour, and it won't be a long one. It'll only be like 2 weeks, but I got a lot I still got to getting ready for. So,
well, it's expensive.
Yes,
it's expensive to tour, and sleeping in a van isn't fun.
Yeah, I've done it for years. I've done it in previous bands, and I am 33, almost 34. I am tired of vans, so I'm like, I'm getting an RV. So I'm gonna wait until I can afford the RV, and then I also have to hire in a band because it is just me. So live band stuff, I need to make sure I have a guitarist and a drummer and possibly a bassist, and then I probably will be dragging Nick for live sound. So I got to make sure I can afford all of that plus some of the equipment I don't have.
It's just so expensive. And I mean, you say, oh, it's only 2 weeks, but those 2 weeks, I mean, cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's what I
am so manifesting this Fix
hopefully
run. I'm manifesting it.
People always ask, they're like, well, what's stopping you? I'm like, well, honestly, I know it sounds stupid, and I know Spotify, for instance, pays out terribly. But I think it's 0.003 cents a stream. But because of this, I want to make sure that I'm not coming out in the negative or like hurting myself to screw my future self over with financing or financial stuff for like the next album, or whatever is to come. But I want to make sure that I have enough of a genuine following before I can like go set up all these shows, because the only way to make any money off of tours is merch. And if I don't have people there and they're not buying stuff, I'm going to come out heavily in the negative. So I'm trying to make sure I'm being smart about this before I commit.
It is. It's a money game. It's so hard. I totally understand that. I'm I'm just so excited for this album. I'm excited for the songs that I haven't heard yet. And you have a song that released on February 14th. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So that song is technically, I know it's Valentine's Day, but it's a very wintry song for me. And in the context of kind of what we were talking about earlier, that song is about something I dealt with for a long time, and it doesn't happen very often anymore, thankfully. But severe panic attacks, and it basically consuming you like it is an entity, and it's really hard to like break away from. And is it was definitely a the vibe I'm trying to get across. I feel like we nailed it. And it makes you feel like you're kind of like in an induced panic attack while you're listening to the song. And it's just like, for me, it's a balance of, like it's me in my song basically saying, all right, we're not going to be able to stop having these. So we need to basically, you can't run from them. You just have to accept it and deal with it and get through it. And that's pretty much what the whole entire song is about, which is called Phobos, by the way. But yeah, it's great. It's one of
It's
my favorites for sure.
well, it's weird because we're recording this way before it comes out. So
Yeah, I'm like trying to think. I'm like, wait, hold on.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Well, your new album, your debut, it's your debut album. It's your debut album.
hmm
God, you must be so proud.
I am very stoked. It feels like it has been like I've been impatient, but also like, holy crap, the time's flown by. You know what I mean? So I'm very excited.
I can't wait to hear the unreleased track. So your self-titled debut album, Izzy Rain, comes out on, we think, March 21st.
Yeah, we
We
think.
think. It's okay. Sometime in March, you will
Yeah,
get the debut album for
yeah.
Izzy Rain. If people want to find you, where is the best place to find you?
Um, oof. Music wise, oh buddy. Well, when that album comes out, there will be a music video with it. So YouTube is always a good one. If you're looking for something visual, but I usually post certain links that have a plethora of different like music platforms. So you should be able to find anything anywhere. I try to keep, I think the only social media platform I'm not currently on is Twitter. Or X or whatever it's called. That's
I know I
it.
saw you took yourself down.
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't really use it in the first place, and then I just was like, "What is happening on this app?" So I got off. I'm like, "I'll just move over to Blue Sky."
No, I meant what social media platform are you most active on? Because I would say it's probably Instagram.
Man, honestly, yeah, I feel like Instagram's a really big one. I think that that's probably the most used. TikTok, I'm pretty frequent on, but I don't know if I'm on it more physically for myself with videos or I'm just on the app more. But
It
like,
it's a life drainer.
it is ridiculous. I
It
do love
steals
it.
your life.
I know, but it is it has been good to me. Let's put it that way. I'm very grateful for the community that came from TikTok, and without it, I wouldn't have anything personally. If it weren't for one person sharing the "This is Halloween" cover and it blowing up on TikTok, nobody from anyone would have ever reached out or knew who I was at all. My monthly listeners were 7. And then that blew up and it jumped up to 20 and then to 40 and then Fix jumped up and they were like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hi." And then yeah, it kind of just went from there.
You're
So,
at over 100,000 now on Spotify because I looked.
oh, am I? I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm serious. Look, I want you to look right now. Let's look because I swear
I'm
I
gonna
was
look. It's
just
like
looking at your
5,000.
Spotify.
Nice.
104,000 monthly listeners. Girl, you
For
are
me,
absolutely crushing
that's
it right now.
great. Right for now, that's definitely great. And I say that with the context of usually how it has been the past couple of years is every year for Halloween season, my monthly listeners skyrocket and then they drop. So they're like, everybody's got the "This is Halloween" cover on it, and all my other Halloween covers, which I've done like I don't even know anymore. I can't count 4, 3, 10, I don't know, but so they skyrocket and then they drop really hard. But so it to be over 100,000 right now, it speaks volumes about progress, because I think that my high on my normal stuff was about 40,000. You know what I mean?
I
So
think also the doing the waterfall releases really helps
yeah,
too, keeping those numbers
yes,
steady,
exactly.
and keeping people in the loop that you're doing something new, that you're not going stagnant, and you're here to reign, girl,
Yeah,
because you are doing it. You are
trying.
crushing it. Well, I look forward to your album release coming later this month, and hopefully we'll have a chance to speak again. I hope that you definitely go on tour. I would love, love, love
I
to come see you
promise.
perform
I'll
live.
I'll let everyone know the very second I figure anything out.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
All right. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye.